Let me spill this tea. Folks have been whispering for years, and it ain't no secret, Tina Knowles is the real villain in the Knowles clan. And when I say villain, I'm talking about folks calling her out for being a narcissistic, control freak rat.
And CelebTea had a color issue. So this is what she said. Coming back to my apartment to tell me that I had made the right decision, she told me that it was just as well. And this is a direct quote. Ashley is talented, but she is so big. She towers over the other girls, and she is too dark and ugly.
Now, if you want to know who can allegedly back up all this shade, look no further than her two ex-husbands, Mathew Knowles and Richard Lawson, her daughter Solange, every Destiny's Child member, and basically anyone who's ever been close to her. Honey, there's been a whole lot said and seen, but let's start with the way she treats Beyoncé like she's her one and only. Like, excuse me, is Solange just a side character in this story?
Wait a minute, are you saying Tina Jay-Z?
I'm saying it's all in the family.
What?
That's why we keep Solange so terrible. Because Solange ain't going for it. She's the real talent. She's the one with real integrity.
Wait a
And the
minute.
way she's been treated, it's...
Allegedly, Tina's the reason Bey and Solange have had their drama because she doesn't even pretend not to favor Beyoncé. And Chili, let me tell you, the drama between these sisters hit a boiling point while Beyoncé was cooking up Renaissance. An insider spilled the beans to Media Takeout, saying something was definitely off between them. This insider dropped some tea saying, "We all thought it was strange that Solange wasn't on Bey's album. The vibe was right up Solange's alley." They also peeped that not only did Solange skip out on being a part of the project, but sis didn't even post a single tweet or Instagram shout out for Renaissance. The source threw in more shade like, "It's just weird she wasn't out here supporting Beyoncé. Bey took some real risks on Renaissance and she needed everybody behind her to make it pop." Now, they did say they didn't have any firsthand proof of a rift, but they heard some whispers. And let me tell you, it sounds like something's definitely brewing between these two. Well, the streets are talking, and word is Solange finally had enough of Mama Tina always pushing her to boost Beyoncé's shine without ever getting her flowers for it. I mean, just last year, Beyoncé didn't even give Solange a shout out in her Grammy speech, and she literally thanked everybody else in the family. Poor Solange. But baby, if anyone else knows how tough Tina can be, it's gotta be Richard Lawson. You already heard that Tina went ahead and filed for divorce from Richard, right? According to court papers, it was all due to those irreconcilable differences that popped up and just wrecked their marriage, making it impossible for them to live together as husband and wife. Now the tea gets hotter. Terms of the settlement showed that neither Tina nor Richard would be getting any spousal support, but Tina did have to drop a cool $300,000 as a one-time payment to Richard. On top of that, there's this non-disparagement clause that's got them both zipped up tight. Neither one can talk trash about the other, their kids, or their spouses. The clause specifically said, in respect to the mutual desire to protect the privacy rights of any and all present or future grandchildren, both parties agree they won't discuss these grandchildren or future grandchildren, whether it's in the media or in person. Now, folks weren't exactly shocked by this divorce, especially with how these two were acting out in public. Word on the street is that Tina never really thought Richard was worthy of being her husband, which is why she kept Mathew's last name and went out of her way to embarrass Richard during interviews.
I envisioned the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities. He has a lot of the qualities that that I love, and we're having a really good time, and I'm enjoying life. So there is hope, women.
You know the tea, right? The word on the street has always been that Tina only snatched up Richard to get a little payback on Mathew. And once she'd served her purpose, she was like, "Bye, Richard," and filed for that divorce. Now, speaking of Mathew, things went south for them back in 2009 when it hit the fan that he'd been playing daddy to a love child with Jaguar Wright. Tina initially dropped the divorce suit in 2010, but came right back at it the next year, claiming their personalities just clashed too hard for any hope of a peaceful split. But let's be real, Mathew wasn't exactly a one-woman man, and things got messy when Alexandra's baby made it to the spotlight.
Let me tell you something about taking a picture crying next to a garbage dump. That is the most dramatic thing ever. But I see, even though you're in such a way, you can still get your nails done, did girl. And Jaguar was pregnant at the same time as Jaguar Wright. And this is all on it's a blurred line as to whether he was actually divorced from Tina or going through divorce. Whatever it is, it's really sloppy. I wonder what Solange says. You know what I mean? Because now that we know a bit about Solange, I wonder whether she windmilled him.
Here's the real kicker though. Word around town is that Mathew never acknowledged those out of wedlock kids because Tina put the brakes on it. And get this, Tina is supposedly the one holding Beyoncé and Solange back from connecting with their half-siblings. Talk about drama. Now, besides the child with Alexandra, the other one making headlines is Koi by Takoya. Takoya was out there shaking it as a dancer when she crossed paths with Mathew, and she swears he treated her like she was the queen of his world during their secret romance. But, oh, how things took a nosedive when he found out she was pregnant with Koi. Suddenly, he was out the door, and just like with Alexandra, Mathew pulled the old not my kid routine.
When you told Mathew Knowles that you were pregnant with his child, how did he react?
Very much, well, you can't get pregnant by me. You know, it can't be my child. Can't deny it once DNA test comes out 99.9% that you are the father.
All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single...
Word on the street is Tina made sure these women and their kids felt the heat just like she did. Let's be real. Mathew could have stepped up for his own flesh and blood, but when Tina put her foot down and told him to let those kids suffer, well, he was powerless to change a thing. Don't get it twisted now. Mathew wasn't exactly a saint. This dude might even be as twisted, if not more than Tina. We've seen the receipts, but word on the street is Tina was cool with Mathew stepping out because she was doing the exact same thing. David Lee Brewer, Beyoncé's childhood vocal coach, spills some tea in his tell-all Beyoncé Raising Genius, a teacher and his prodigy. He mentioned that Mathew's shady antics had escalated into even more bizarre behavior. Rumor had it that Coca-Cola couldn't quench his thirst anymore, and he was hitting up some real mess. Brewer also dropped some gossip about Tina and Richard, saying, quote, "I soon discovered that although unhappily married, Celestine was not suffering by herself." He recounted an afternoon when he stumbled upon Celestine, aka Tina, getting cozy with Richard Lawson, a well-known actor. Talk about a scene. She was supposed to be at her salon. I extended my hand to Richard, showering him with praise for his phenomenal work, end quote. Honey, if you thought that was scandalous, buckle up. The real tea is about to spill. Allegedly, Tina Knowles was pulling the strings behind some of the most shocking drama within Destiny's Child. Let's start with Farrah Franklin, a former member who faced some serious drama. Remember when Mathew Knowles made headlines saying that Farrah was out because she missed a bunch of shows? He was all like, the bottom line is Farrah didn't show up. No matter where you work, whether it's a factory or a stage, if you don't show up, you're out. And he even doubled down on this story in another interview.
Farrah didn't show up, didn't call us, didn't let us know. Then we left Seattle to go to Los Angeles to take a nonstop flight to Sydney, Australia. So we haven't heard from Farrah. We get to LAX. We continue to call her. Finally, she got on the phone. So that part was absolutely correct. And then at that point, she said she quit.
But hold up, Farrah had her own version of the story, and let's just say she did not hold back. She clapped back, calling the Knowles family out as liars, including Beyoncé, for backing up her dad's claims. Now that's some real drama.
That's not true. I've never missed a show, ever, or I would have got kicked out the group. You know how much I was getting paid to do a show? And that's the best part of my day. I'm not missing any shows. But when I leave the group, they weren't honest with people and said that I left. They were trying to give themselves more time to clear the air or whatever, but I've never missed a show, ever. And like I said, if I would have missed the group, then they would have kicked me out. So you can't say I'm missing shows if I'm no longer a part of the group anymore. That's a lie. Goldface.
But guess who was whispering in Mathew and Beyonce's ears all along? Yep, you guessed it right. Just maybe Tina was feeling some type of way because Mathew was eyeing Farrah and she had to go. Farrah even spilled the tea that Mathew tried to get with her. So that adds some extra spice to the drama.
Mathew Knowles, he conversationed with me to invite me over to the hotel to meet and speak with him.
Did Mathew try to sleep with you, Farrah?
I haven't met too many people in my life who haven't liked me. I'll just put it like that.
And it gets juicier. Farrah also revealed on the Wendy Williams Experience that while she was in the group, the other members had to get their tan on so they'd be darker than Beyoncé. Guess who was orchestrating that shade? That's right, Tina Knowles.
Yeah, that's right. You don't talk about Tina Knowles. Because what she did to Farrah is totally separate from the look that she possesses. Gorgeous woman.
Thank you.
However, I understand that she wanted you to, she was trying to downplay your naturally stunning looks while you were in the group. Did she have you dye your hair, or she wanted you to dye it something other than the stunning black that it is?
Yeah, my hair was red when I was in the group, actually. And I was
crown red, like the old Kelly red? What?
I'll say. My hair was red. I look a lot different than when I was in the group.
Damn sure do, because I don't even recognize you.
Yeah.
I know your name, but I don't know you.
This is how I would have looked naturally, but this is the group. That's how they wanted me to look.
What else would they do to ugly you up?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but I mean, I did have to tan a lot. When I tan a lot, because they wanted Beyonce to be the lightest one. I mean, Michelle, I, and Kelly tan sometimes. So.
Wow. And Beyonce wouldn't tan?
Not unless you're at a beach.
I've seen receipts saying Tina was practically pushing the girls to get sunbaked, but specifically told Beyonce to stay out of the sun. So not only was Tina making sure the other girls got darker to make Beyonce look lighter, she was also apparently not too keen on working with the darker girls at all. Now, that's a whole lot of mess. For those out of the loop, let me spill the tea. Ashley Tamar Davis was once in Destiny's Child, and a former voice coach claimed that Tina Knowles wasn't about to work with her because she was, quote, dark, big, and ugly. Now, during a trip down memory lane with Ashley, the coach shared some insider info, feeling the need to dish out the real story. He confessed that he was hesitant to get into the nitty-gritty, but Ashley pushed him to keep going. And honey, when he did, the truth about Tina's cold shoulder was more than she bargained for.
And CelebTea had a color issue. So this is what she said. Coming back to my apartment to tell me that I had made the right decision, she told me that it was just as well. And this is a direct quote. Ashley is talented, but she is so big. She towers over the other girls, and she is too dark and ugly.
And hold on, it doesn't stop there. There's more drama involving Tina. Word on the street is she allegedly pressured Kelly Rowland into chopping off her hair. The story goes that Tina couldn't stand anyone having a look that outshined Beyonce's. Now, I'm saying allegedly because Kelly's pixie cut was all the rage back then, so it might have been Kelly's own choice. But the rumors are thick that Tina had her hand in that haircutting decision. Talk about a control freak. Well, Kelly's pixie cut did turn out to be a major moment. It was so iconic that it became a big talking point in interviews. A lot of folks admit they can't be mad about how fabulous Kelly looked with her short hair. But if the cut was a result of Tina's alleged need to keep Beyoncé as the top star, that's a whole different story. These are just some of the whispers about Tina being a controlling narcissist. And let me tell you, the stories keep coming. Allegedly, even her ex-husbands have had their say on her so-called rat ways. So, what do you think? Have I missed any juicy details? What about Tina really gets under your skin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.